Hello, welcome to Fabulous Food. Today we're going to be making a vegetable paneer. So we start with 2 onions. We need to peel them, so holding on tightly, cut off the tip and the root, and then holding on to the skin. That helps to start peeling it. Peel round like that, and do the same for the other one. So cut off the tip, hold the skin down and it begins to peel it for you. Cut off the root and take off the rest of the brown skin. So remove little bits from your chopping board so they don't end up in your product. And now we're going to chop our onions. So the recipe book doesn't state whether you should dice them or cut them into slices. So I'm going to cut them into slices today. So I've got my bridge hold over the onion. My knife goes through the bridge. I put the flat side of the onion down on the board. I use my pincer grip to hold the onion tight, well away from the knife. I just make lots of fine slices, sliding my fingers back as I go. If you get to the end and you're a bit worried about your fingers, do a little mini bridge hold, put the knife through the bridge for that final slice, and carry on until both onions are chopped. So my onions are chopped. I'm going to put the heat on underneath my pan. So I've got quite a big pan here. I'm going to put a couple of tablespoons of oil in. I'm not going to measure it, I'm just going to do it by eye. And then before the oil gets too hot, in case it splashes up at me, I'm going to add all of my onions. And I'm also going to add 1 teaspoon of cumin seeds. Give that a gentle stir so the onion and the seeds get coated in the oil. And then I'm going to leave that to cook. So once it starts sizzling and there's a lot of heat in the pan, I'll turn it down to a medium heat and just leave it to cook while we prepare all the other ingredients. So hopefully you can hear the onion sizzling now. So I'm going to turn that down to a medium heat. Give it another stir to make sure the onions aren't sticking and burning on the bottom of the pan. And the next job is to do number 2, which is to mix together the ginger, the garlic, the chillies and the plum tomatoes. So I've got a bowl. I'm going to tip in my can. I've got chopped tomatoes. The recipe book says plum tomatoes, but that's what these are. They've just been chopped up as well. And then I want 1 teaspoon of chilli flakes, but if you like your food spicy and hot, you can add 2 teaspoons. And then we need to add 4 cloves of garlic. So we're going to top and tail these so we can peel them. So chop off the tip, chop off the bottom part, hold it down, and then that helps you to start peeling. And then do that for each clove of garlic. So I've got my 4 cloves of garlic. I'm going to use a garlic crusher, so pop a couple in at a time, give it a good squeeze, scrape the garlic off, and then add another couple of cloves. Don't worry about cleaning it out halfway through. If you haven't got a garlic crusher at home, you could just chop your garlic finely, and just give that a scrape, add all those bits, you don't want to waste them, and it makes cleaning the garlic crusher much easier later on. And then we're going to add a 5cm piece of ginger. Now this is probably about 5 centimetres, but it's very wide that way. So I'm going to chop it in half. So bridge hold over the top, cut it through the middle. I'm only going to use half of it. Then I'm going to peel it. You mustn't eat the skin of ginger. So remove the peel so you don't get it in your product. And then you can either chop your ginger up fine or you can use a grater. I'm going to chop it up because it makes a real mess of my grater, so I think I'm going to chop instead. So pincer grip at the top, lots of very fine slices across like this, moving your fingers back as you go. And the same as with the onion, when you get to the end, if you're a bit worried about your fingers, switch to a bridge hold, cut through the middle and down towards the board, and then you won't get your fingers at all. And then if you just make little piles the ginger. You can cut really fine matchsticks. So again, I'm using my pincer grip, moving my fingers away as I go. Turn it round, and if you could hold that little pile of matchsticks together, you can then just bring your knife across like that, and it will become very fine pieces. So I'm moving my fingers back each time I cut, like that. Another pile of ginger, keep going until it's all chopped up. So there I have my pile of ginger. I'll bring my bowl back, add it into my bowl. Now I'm going to go and wash my hands because I don't want to rub my eyes and get the ginger into my eyes. So you can see that my onions are just sweating down nicely with the cumin seeds, so I'm just going to leave those to carry on and prepare the next part of the recipe. So now we're on to number 4, where we're going to prepare the lemon juice, garam masala, salt and turmeric. So I've got a lemon here. You can either use a fresh lemon or lemon juice. If you're using a fresh lemon, bridge hold, cut through the middle of the lemon, so you end up with segments like that. So when you do your bridge hold it at the tip and the other end of the lemon where it was hanging on the tree. And I'm going to use my lemon juicer. We want 50 ml of lemon juice. So I'll squeeze 1/2 and see how much that gives me. Just going to put the knife across there to stop the pips coming out. So that's just under 50 ml, so I'm going to take the other half, give it a gentle squeeze, and just add that tiny bit of lemon juice there. Again, put the knife over where I'm pouring it out so the pips stay in the juicer. So to my 50 ml of lemon juice, I'm going to add 1/2 a heaped teaspoon of turmeric. That's this one here, 1/2 a heaped teaspoon. I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of garam masala. And I'm going to add 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. There. So when we do this at school, we get you to have your onions frying, to prepare your lemon juice mix and your tomato mix, and then we're ready to complete the recipe. So my onions are ready for the next stage, which if you look on your book is to add the ginger, garlic, chilli and plum tomato mix. So in that goes. Give it a gentle stir. Always stir from the edge into the middle, and that stops it flying out of the pan. And you'll be able to hear it stop sizzling. That's because I've added cold ingredients to the pan. So I'm going to turn the heat back up to high until it starts sizzling again. And then I'm going to add the other jug of ingredients. I'm going to give it a little stir. So this was the lemon juice with all the spices. Tip that in. I'm just bringing it back up to a boil now. I'm going to keep a close eye on it. Now that it's boiling, so I can see bubbles on the surface, I'm going to turn it to a medium heat again. I'm going to leave it for 10 minutes or so that the sauce reduces as it simmers and thickens up. So now I'm going to add my frozen vegetables. So I've got 250 grams of frozen peas here. You can use whatever frozen vegetables that you like. Add those to the pan and then just cook them for a few minutes as they defrost. Give them a good stir and that will help them to defrost in the heat of the liquid already in the pan. So I'm going to leave that for 2 or 3 minutes now, just for the peas to cook or warm through. So the last thing to add is the paneer. So mine came in this bag, so it's ready cubed. I think you can also buy it in a block that you'd have to cut yourself. And when it comes in a bag, it's often quite squished, so I just gently squeeze it like that to loosen it up. Now I'm going to add that to my pan. give it one final stir. So again, from the outside in. So if you're going to eat this straight away, just leave it for long enough for the paneer to warm through. If you're not going to eat it straight away, you could switch the pan off at this time and then just reheat the whole thing nearer tea time. So just before you serve it, you can just snip some bits of lovely fresh coriander all over the top. So you can either do that in the saucepan like I'm doing, or you could snip it onto each individual portion. So I hope you enjoy your paneer, and please put some pictures on the Google Classroom for us to see. Bye bye.